Hi all, so I'm going to do some more of my 5D painting. I haven't done any more since the last time I've done this style of video. It's been a while since I've been feeling up to sitting at the table. And I couldn't set it up on my sofa, I tried. So just where we left off last time was doing the 3s, so that's where I'll continue. And then probably move on to the 4s, depending how long it takes. I'm aiming for around 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how I feel. So we'll have to wait and see. So shall we get started on it, shall we? I've already got most of my beads lined up here. Well, I say lined up, I've got them in the tray and I just need to shake them up. And I've put some fresh glue. Ooh, let's get this right. I think I'd know it by now. Focus, there we go. So I've got some fresh glue into the little pen so we can get going. So I know some of you would have seen my fox that I finished. I know there's been some debate between us and apparently some of you, which one you liked more, the panda or the fox. Now I'm definitely a fox girl. I love the panda, but I don't know what it is. I just have a thing for a fox at the moment. I mean, I should have been making bunnies, but I really wanted to make that fox. I'll be making a bunny next, because, you know, Easter coming up, I really should be doing a bunny. So that one will be next. I'm still working on the rings to change blanket. That's not been forgotten. I'm just doing that more than I'm doing anything else, to be honest. So I'm still enjoying that. I'm at row 64 or 65, I think it is now. I've done a couple, maybe 3 or 4 more rows actually, since I showed you it last. So that will be shown on, well, technically for you guys it would be yesterday's video, but it's actually going to be filmed after this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to film this, then film my normal update video, and then because this one will take so long to process and upload, I'm actually going to process and upload my update video today, which is Wednesday the 7th of March, and then tomorrow I will upload this actual oh, I just spilled beads everywhere. That was clever. Don't use the tray to try to push down on the ones you've just done, because apparently it don't work so well. Ooh, baddie. There's a mistake for you. This is a good start, isn't it? I'm actually still half asleep. I'm so tired. But I really wanted to do this. I missed it. And then Nathan is just, I mean, really, what is he doing? He showed a flamingo one. I think it was last night I saw it. May have been this morning. Time is nothing to me nowadays. And it's like, well, that's another one to add to my list. It's so pretty. And obviously I've still got Joe's cat to get, and I'm still working on my husband to get that peacock. I really want that peacock. I mean, in my defence, they asked for ideas because it's Mother's Day on Sunday here in the UK, March the 11th. And then my birthday is May the 15th. So they need ideas for those things. So, you know, I'm just giving them ideas, isn't it? They often moan that I don't give them ideas other than yarn. I'm giving them ideas other than yarn. And they're still moaning. I just can't win. But no, in all seriousness, when we can afford it, we will get it. Probably could do with some tweezers to pick all these up. But never mind. Mally, darling, will you go upstairs into my bedside table? There is some tweezers. There's actually 3 sets of different styles. Pick me with the one with the longest nose part.
Where did you say? Bedside table?
Yeah, bedside table. That boy has a worse memory than me. How, I'd love to know. But he does. It's kind of ridiculous. I am getting my fingers all over the stickiness. I hope I'm not ruining it. think we're getting there. The problem is remembering where they're dropped and where they're actually supposed to be fixed to, because I don't remember. Pretty sure none of these ones up here should have them on. I don't remember doing any of them up here. It's just moving, it won't come off. You'll be having a laugh at my expense if I can't get them off, won't you? It'll still look pretty. It's a unicorn. How could it not look pretty? Get me a pair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You done the sensible thing. You just brought all 3 pairs down.
Because I didn't know which one you wanted.
Okay. Let's see if this can get them off, shall we? There we go. That's better. Should those ones be off? They look pretty secure. Maybe they should be on. Okay. What about these ones? Yeah, that one definitely shouldn't. That one seems pretty secure, so I'm guessing those ones should be. That one does. They all seem pretty secure. So I'm guessing all those ones are in the right place, and I think we're good. Let's try not to do that again, shall we? So let's start that again, shall we? This time just use my fingers to press down the ones I want to press down. Okay, the next lot of 3s are somewhere, I know. Okay, up here. Can we see that on camera still? Let's pull down slightly. There we go. Okay, so what was I saying? I don't even remember what it was we were saying, discussing beforehand. Nathan and the peacocks. That was Joe and the peacock, Nathan and the flamingo. Yeah, so it's my birthday coming up and Mother's Day coming up, so I've got to give them lots of ideas. So why I'm getting the yes dear, I'd love to know. You know when I don't give them ideas. But yeah, they are on my list to get. And Denise isn't helping because she's got new ones, and it's like, I want so many. I need to sell some stuff. Anyone want to buy a fox? No, serious, that is going up on the shop. I haven't got it up there yet, but I will be going up onto there. It's a bit smaller than the panda because if you remember, I said I did the panda with 5mm needles, and it was just slightly too big for the joints and made it wobbly, which was still cute, but obviously some people aren't going to want to pay the price I'm going to be charging for wobbly teddy bears. So what I did is I moved down to a 4.4, and it's a much better fit now, but obviously it's smaller. And it surprised me how much smaller it is, to be honest. It's not tiny, it's still a pretty good size, but it is much smaller. It's a much better fit for the joints. No floppiness at all, really. It's a good snug fit. So I'm happy with that, and I think I'll stick to the 4.4, even though it produces a slightly smaller one. I had planned on buying the extra large style craft special chunky, so the extra large chunky, and making them with 5mm with that, which will probably give me similar size to the panda. But I can't get that wholesale. They only do DK wholesale, so the chunky and at least on my suppliers. So the chunky had to be bought from Wool Warehouse, and I'd have to buy the extra large chunky from Wool Warehouse. Oh, other shops. But I like Wool Warehouse, you get the pretty bags. Which I'm using for project bags. I have a lot of them now. And I still don't have enough project bags. That would mean stop doing new projects, but I think we both know that's not going to happen. But so yeah, in order to buy enough yarn to make the extra chunky teddies, foxes, whatever, in rough calculations for the meter yardage comparisons of what I've used, it's going to cost me almost, it's going to be somewhere between 35 and 40 quid to buy the yarn and the joints and the stuffing to fill such a large teddy. Because the fox took basically a whole 250, there's a teeny bit left. So like the panda, it's going to take more. So I'll need 2 bags. Which means in order to make any profit, I'd have to sell that extra large one for at least 50 quid. And though personally I think it's worth it because I know what goes into these sort of products, who in the right mind is going to pay £50 for a stuffed toy? I mean, some people do, I know, but there's not many people, I don't think it will. So it might be that I just make like one-off specials from them, but I don't know. Right, have I got any more 3s left? There's definitely one more there. Oh, they're all running away from me. Static electric. Makes a change not to be giving me electric shocks, I suppose. Does anyone else get that? A large amount of electric shocks. When I was pregnant, it got so bad I couldn't even touch a banister going into a shop or a button for a lift. I still don't press them. Because if I did, I got massive static electric shocks. And I mean, they hurt. So, I mean, the rest of my family thought it was funny until I started giving them to them because the energy build-up meant that they had them too. That I found funny. But yeah, my static shocks are nothing to be laughed at really. They hurt. So I'm hoping I'm not the only one it happens to. But yeah, I still don't touch metal things if I can help it, because I don't want the shocks. I mean, that, and who wants to touch some of these buttons and banisters that people with colds and things have touched? It's just, no. Oof. There's my OCD coming through. I don't actually have OCD, and I shouldn't joke about, well, at least as far as I know I don't. But I have a lot of OCD tendencies. So people are always saying, oh my god, it's OCD again. But, I mean, yeah, maybe it's OCD. Maybe it's just because I'm weird. Who cares? It's me, and that's all that matters. Right, I think we're all done on the 3s. So I think we're going to move on to the 4s. So, it didn't take long. I should have just carried on doing the 3s, but I was hurting too much last time to keep doing them. So, get out my trusty little case. Pour the 3s back in. And get a bunch of 4s. Sorry, it's very unhygienic. Really sorry, but they're mine and nobody else is going to touch them. It's the best way I find of picking them all out. You see me talking about germs and then I'm doing that. There's no logic to my issues. Seriously, none. You know, I had 3 kids with my husband. But will I drink from the same can, eat off his plate? No. I won't even drink from the same item or eat off my children's plates. You know, and they literally are made up of me. I have severe issues, okay? A lot of people find it weird. I can't. I just can't. And that's me. It's like, I have things in place, in order, in my house. It's not as much now because I don't have the energy to do it all. But when I was younger and I had enough space, everything was lined up correctly. I cleaned, hoovered, dusted, polished, all that daily. What was I going? Oh yeah, and my ornaments were all lined up neatly, and you know, it looked good. My DVDs are in alphabetical order. My books are in alphabetical order, or chronicle order for some stuff. You like, if it's a series, you'd have the alphabet order and then the chronological order, and it all looked really good. And that's the way I like to keep it. It's not the way most people in this house like to keep it. And it stresses me out, which is why I tend to let them get on with it. I don't look at it, then I can't get stressed.
Not that we don't want it like that, it's because we're too lazy to make it like that.
There you go. At least he's honest. He admits he's too lazy to keep it like that. That's a start. Honesty, best policy and all that. I always have a rule with my children. Don't lie to me. No matter what you've done and how bad it was, don't lie to me. If you lie to me, I'm going to be really annoyed. You tell me the truth, I might not be happy about it, but I'll deal with it. And it works, for the most part. My oldest is nothing to worry about. My middle, on the other hand, I think he's going to give me a heart attack one day. You never know what to expect from that boy. I mean, I love him, and he's hilarious, and he's funny, and he has no honesty bounds, seriously. Something the mother doesn't need to know. But he also has issues of, like, his driving is appalling. He thinks it's perfect. He's actually in bed asleep. He works nights, so he has to sleep during the day, bless him.
He's a vampire, like you.
He's a vampire, is he? I am not a vampire. I couldn't drink other people's blood. I don't know if that's supposed to be a 4 or an A, because there's something black over it. Let's keep scraping. I'm going to scrape away all the bloody glue, aren't I? We're going with 4. Anyway, yeah, so I don't even remember what I was saying. My son, his driving gives me a heart attack. And then, as some of you know, I had a heart attack at 3-4 o'clock in the morning a few weeks ago when I got a call from A&E saying he was up there. Though the nurse was very quick to point out that there's nothing wrong with him, he was just incredibly drunk. And they didn't even know he was there until he started throwing up, because he hadn't checked in. He just sat down in a chair and stayed there until he started throwing up. And he was not in a coherent way, so they went through his wallet, got his name, and then on the system I'm registered as his next of kin because he was up there so often with BMX accidents that they knew to call me. So that's what we did. But so far he hasn't managed to do it again, so that's good. But now that he's working in the evenings, he's got to be careful with his drink. He works for, now I can never pronounce this right, Ocado? The shopping delivery, Ocado, there we go, see, somebody knows. I'm bending this down. Yeah, he works in the warehouse, but picking sort of thing. But they have very strict rules on alcohol, and they actually test you to make sure you are not under the influence, because you're working around machines, because it's very efficient there, it's really awesome. But yeah, they have strict rules, so he can't drink if he's going to be working the next night, which is great. It's going to stop him drinking so much. I don't know why he drinks so much. I mean, yeah, we're all young and we all drink. Well, most of us drink. My 20-year-old barely touches a drop. I don't drink anymore, but I did when I was his age, and I had a fair bit, but I never got so drunk that I blacked out or didn't remember what I did the night before. I got drunk enough to regret doing what I did the night before. You know, snogging the boy in college who has a crush on you when you don't want to be with him. You know, not the best move. Though in my defence, it was because another guy was harassing me and wouldn't leave me alone, and he said he'd play along. So he knew the mistakes, but you know, still, it's not nice, is it? But yeah, I never got to the point that I come home in an ambulance, which he done. That's not the A&E episode. He woke up in the morning with all of those bits from ECG stuck to you. It's like, oh, I really did come home in an ambulance. You know, when you get like that, you kind of should admit you've got a drinking problem. But, you know, he's 19, he'll get there eventually, and who am I to say he can't have fun? Just, I'd prefer if he didn't kill himself or kill anyone else. So, it's all good. But, talking of stress though, which was way back then, wasn't it? As some of you know, I've been diagnosed with Crohn's, no, try that again, with Cushing's syndrome, not disease, syndrome. There is a difference. But I have adrenal suppression to go with it because it's my asthma pumps causing it. Now, I'm sure I mentioned I need to keep tablet form medicine for when I get sick to take, and then if I'm vomiting, or the other end, I have to inject myself or call the doctor to inject me. There's different opinion on that one. To give me liquid versions because I could go into adrenal crisis and that could kill me. So I've got the tablets ready, and I may never ever need the injections, but you have to have them on hand just to be safe. So I've got my prescription. Don't have the ampules because no one has them. It's a nationwide shortage and nobody can source them for me, so I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd probably never need them, and I hope I will never need them, but you know, I'd feel much better knowing that they were here just in case, and they're not. Have I been doing that on camera this whole time or not? I'm really sorry if I haven't. So yeah, at the moment I don't know what to do. A bit of Googling shows that you can get something else as a replacement sometimes if it's suitable. But how do I know if I'm suitable? Would the doctors have offered me it if it was suitable? And they haven't offered me it because they should know about the shortage. It's been going on since November last year. So I honestly don't know what to do. And then when I went to see my doctor the other day, I can't remember which day it was I had my appointment. Must have been last week because I had my CT scan this week, so it must have been last week I saw her. That's when we had the disagreement on who should be administering that shot. When I left the hospital, they told me that I need to administer the shot and then call medical help straight away, whether that's a doctor coming to check me out or A&E or whatever. But the doctor says I should call a doctor to come and administer the shot in the first place, and I should never have to do the shot myself, which is great, except for the fact that in my current doctors it takes 3 weeks to get an appointment, and it's extremely rare they will come to your house, and that's if you can get through on the telephone, because 9 times out of 10 you can't even get through on the telephone. So her making me wait could be just as dangerous. She has gave me some syringes, but only just in case the doctor who comes out doesn't have any. I've not been taught how to administer it. So I'm just hoping and praying that I never ever need to take them. But I'm supposed to have it with me for in case of emergency, like if you go travelling and then you get really sick when you're away. That doctor who's away is not going to know your record. And so you need it with you so you can explain, or rather my husband can explain what needs doing. Or if we're in the middle of an accident that we've been in, then that needs to be administered straight away. We can't wait for somebody to find us and for the ambulance crew to arrive and then administer it. So we need these just in case. I've never been in an accident. I've never got so sick that I felt that I needed help. That doesn't mean it'll never happen. Just means it's less likely to happen, and I'm happy with it being less likely to happen. I would like to be prepared. So, I don't know. And still, once again, she still refuses to send me to a neurologist for my headaches and migraines. This is the 5th time I've asked now. Apparently, what she wants to do is either put me back on my Tomiapate medicine, which didn't work, leave me with nothing, up my dosage of my painkillers because it seems to be having a side effect of reducing my migraines, which I'm not complaining about. So that's what she's decided to do, because my only other option was for her to give me a different medicine that is likely to set off my asthma, make it worse. Now, it might be simple. People would say, well, yeah, just take more asthma pump, except for, if you remember, I have cushions because of my asthma pump, which means I can't take more of my asthma pump because on a daily basis I overdose on steroids. But I can't stop taking my asthma pump because my asthma is currently already really bad. And she wants to give me a tablet to stop my migraines that would make my asthma worse. Where's the logic in that? I'm waiting for all of these final bits of testing to come through so that I can move doctors to one that's going to be much more sensible, hopefully. But it's just somehow waiting. I've had another blood test done on Monday. Some of those results are in and some of them are not, because I've actually got access to my medical records now, so I can check. I have to check because I had the receptionist tell me my results and I didn't understand them, so I had a doctor ring me back to explain my results for one of my blood tests, because I was being tested for my vitamin D the first time round. And he's like, oh yeah, it's all good, it's fine, you're safe. And then a month later, when I went to my actual doctor, she thought I was there to get my blood results, and it just took a long time. And I said, no, they're fine. She just looked at me in pure shock, because they were not fine. They were nowhere near fine. I should have been on vitamin D tablets pretty pronto. In fact, I was, by the time she finished. Because my vitamin D was really seriously low. So I don't trust the doctors to read me my results anymore. So I either go in and see my actual doctor, who will read the results to me there and then, or, as it is now, now I have access to my medical results, I can see what the results were, and see if they need action. It's like my vitamin B12 has been tested loads of times, and it's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's not, but they won't do anything about it. It is low. I've checked the recommendation of the levels and my levels. They are low, but they won't do anything about it. But I refuse to take more vitamins myself to cover it, which I know would be the sensible thing, but they need to see that my results are low and do something about it. Not just say, oh, don't worry about it. They need to see what it's doing to me to get it dealt with. So I'm going to have to wait. My CT scan results, I haven't spoke to the doctor, but again, I've seen the results myself. They confirm it's the cyst type we thought, the mesomentic or something. The rare type, anyway. How's that for me beating the odds? Once again, I find the rarest illness that you can get and get it. Well, not the rarest, but you know what I mean. You know, my hemiplegic migraines are 1 in 100,000 because I have sporadic ones. Not familial ones, it means they're not one in the family. My ME and fibre are pretty common, but Cushing's is reasonably rare. So yeah, I seem to find the ones that you're supposed to be rare, I get them. So yeah, I do definitely have that, but there's still no solution. It just says see doctor. Doctor hasn't phoned me to tell me I need to see them. I only know I need to see the doctor because the results wrote on the medical records say see doctor. So I'm not impressed about that, but I will be making an appointment to see her. I'm just waiting for the rest of the bloods to come through so I can take them with me to bloody make sure I'm getting seen to properly. But yeah, I got proper sizes of the cyst. The sizing keeps changing depending on who's measuring it because of the different ways the cyst has been checked. But yeah, it's pretty big. It's like 10.6 by 9 point something by 8 point something centimetres. So it's nothing to be trifled with. So I have an appointment with the gastro doctor on the 19th, I'm hoping he will say, let's just take it out, because it's big and it hurt. Back again. Okay, I've had a quick look, and it's because it timed out, because of course this camera can only do 20 odd minutes. And it done my 20 odd minutes and then done the second part that it doesn't mind doing to cope with a little overspill, and then it cut off. But it doesn't look like it cut off too much, so hopefully we'll be good. We'll wait and see, won't we? Let's push this back a bit because I'm working more. Thrown my conversation. No idea what I was speaking about. I know I was moaning about my doctors once again, but I can't remember why. I'm always moaning about them, aren't I? But it's because I have crap doctors. And I do plan on moving, but you know, it's hard to move in the middle of testing because, you know, the other doctor doesn't know what's going on. So I need to get this cyst sorted and then I can move, or at least arranged to be dealt with, and then I can move. So that's the plan. So what are you all doing today anyway? Or yesterday, or your plan for next week? Let me know. I'd love to know what you got doing. Share in my YouTube group what you've got on the go at the moment. It doesn't have to be yarn related, it can be any craft you like. I love seeing other crafts, I'm addicted to other crafts, but I don't do woodwork myself, so I'd love to see anyone who does any woodwork. Woodwork I find amazing, but it's just not something I have the skill for. Which is a shame, because I think you can do so many pretty things, but it's just not something I'm capable of. I don't have a steady enough hand for it, because I just take a big chunk out of it, you know. Saying that, I did do woodwork for part of my GCSEs and I didn't do too bad of a job, but that was, you know, simple stuff. Nothing really pretty, which is what you do for art types. So, I don't know. Just rub that down again. There's Nathan replying on the Instagram post. Because I keep telling him, stop making a bigger list for me. Hey Nathan, if you watch me, I don't know if you do, but if you do, where's that video? Have I missed it? Did I not get a notification? Because, you know, we're waiting to see. If I've missed it, someone point me in the right direction, will you? I'm sorry for anyone who saw my fox many times over. I know not all of you, in fact hardly any of you, are in my YouTube group on Facebook. So I'd like to share it to the other ones. But the problem is I don't know how many of you are in each one, whether you're all in everyone or whether some people are not. So I shared it to all the ones I am in. So some of you will definitely have seen it many times over. Because it went in Karen House, Castellistics, it went in Sean's from Sean Shafty Corner, went in Randy's from Random Randy's Ramblings, and then it went in, is it Ella or Ellie? I'm sorry, I always get it wrong. Yeah, from No Catchy Name Crochet Talk, I think that's right, isn't it? So, yeah, some of you would have seen it a lot. And then if any of you are locals watching, you would have also seen it in the Wiltshire Crafts group. So, really sorry. But, yeah, until I have a larger following in my YouTube group, so that I know most of you are seeing the stuff, I think it's going to be easier to post on other people's as well. I will link to my YouTube group on Facebook if anyone wants to join. I link most times. I've got a blog up and running on my own site, which I will share a link to. But the plan is to put my designs and patterns on there to go along with the videos. Now, some of you remember a while back I did design a tunic, dress type top, which I still haven't done the pattern for. But when it is available, which I'm hoping will be very, very soon, one, I'd like some people to volunteer to test it for me to make sure I've done it right, because I've never wrote a pattern in my life. But more importantly, it will be available on my blog as a written thing, so it's not just a video. So if you don't like following videos, you just want to see the written down thing, excuse me, sorry, it will be wrote down for you to use instead. I'm afraid it's just going to be on my blog site because I don't know how many of you, because I know a good chunk of you are also American as well, or not business people as such. You don't have a registered business, you just craft for charities and things, or for yourselves. So when you write patterns and sell patterns in downloadable form, when you live within the UK, or rather the EU in general, you have to pay VAT. But what you have to do is you have to pay the VAT due to any country where the person who is buying the pattern from comes from. So say if one of my American followers bought that pattern, I'd have to find out what the VAT is for that area. I'd have to set up an account with the government there and pay them the VAT that they're due for the item that was sold to them. So the government would still get a cut of any sales, which one, takes away any minimal profit that I make, and two, is extremely hard work. I wouldn't even know where to begin on VAT because I don't earn enough to have to pay VAT in general, so I don't have VAT system set up. But if I started selling downloadable products, even if I sold them just in this country, I'd have to have a VAT system in place to pay the VAT to the government no matter what. And it's just not something I can do. So the only way for me to do my patterns is to give them away, and to give them away on my blog. Now if you want to find a way of copy and pasting that into a format you can print out and use for personal use, then you are more than welcome to. I do not mind. I don't want you printing it out and then selling it, because that's just rude. illegal and rude. But are you still on screen? Probably not. Should we move up a bit? I'm sorry, I'm not doing very well at staying on screen today, am I? We've got some falls up here. Should we go up here? Can you see up here? Just pull down a bit. There we go. You see, I planned on being in a much comfier position so I'd be more organised, but it didn't help, so I'm here just because I miss doing it and I want to do it. So what was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, if and when I get my patterns up on my blog, if you want to copy that written pattern so you can print it out for your personal use, please feel free to do that. But obviously I won't be able to do patterns that are downloadable for you to buy because it wouldn't be worthwhile for me to do them because I'm not a massive designer, I'm not earning thousands a month, so I'd end up earning nothing. It's bad enough that it's cost me £250 before I've even sold a single toy, and that doesn't include the actual stuff to make the toy. That was purely for the certificates in order to be able to make the toys. And then obviously there's the yarn, the stuffing, the joints, the what you call it? I just put that on an A instead of a 4. Let's move you along. Joints. What you call it? Stuffing, yarn, joints, labels, there we go, and the CE labels that I also legally have to have attached to my toys. Well, they have to be accompanied to my toys, so technically you could just wrap the toy into a bag and have the labelling in the bag. But as most of you know with toys, you tend to have them sewn to the toy. So that's what I've done. It's more professional, it looks nicer, and you're less likely to have a problem if someone says such and such happened to the toy. I can say, well, tell me on the label what the code is, and then I can track down everything I used and check what went wrong. Because I have to have a paper trail for everything I use. And by having the label attached to the toy, it has an individual marker code on it. And by that code I can see which batch of yarn I used, which batch of stuffing I used, which batch of joints I used, all that sort of stuff. So that if there's a problem, I can contact the manufacturer and say there was a problem with this particular one. Maybe you should do a check on it and see what went wrong. Or if it's just that I didn't do something right and it fell apart, I have to check what I did. I mean, if it's fallen apart, then I would have messed up pretty badly, so I don't know how that is unlike that's. I mean, if you tried pulling apart Stylecraft, it's hard work. If you try setting fire to Stylecraft doesn't burn. I mean, it takes a lot to get it to fire. You can get it to set fire, but it takes a lot. Which is great because it meant that it's fabulous for doing toys because it kicked ass on the flammability side of the testing. So, you know, I'm not complaining that it takes a while, but yeah, if somebody came and said, oh, it caught fire with just a spark, I'd know that not really, because Stylecraft does not catch fire with just a spark unless it's been coated in something, I expect. So I can check what the batch was and check the scraps I got, check there's any problems, because I usually have scraps, and what I plan on doing is keeping a scrap of each of them with each file for each item that I sell. That way I've always got at least a part copy of whatever yarn I used. So I can check, you know, if it's just going to catch fire with a spark. They said that I can check to see whether it did do that and prove that I did my testing and that it doesn't do that. Because if I don't keep these records, I could go to prison for it. Because if one of them caught fire well in a child's hand and that child got severely burned or worse, they could do me for negligence, endangering, or I don't know what the exact terms are, but they could do me for it. So by having this paper trail proving I'd done everything possible to make sure this toy was safe, if something goes wrong, I can show that hopefully it wasn't my fault, that I did everything I could to make sure this toy was safe to go out into the public and to be played with by children. So for those who aren't in the EU, the terms and testing I'm on about, it's called the EN71, and then each EN71 has a 71-1-2-3, and each part has a certain amount. Now, the certificates I bought are for one section of that, and that's the chemical migration section. Basically, an actual lab tests the yarn for heavy metals or anything that a child sucking on the toy could possibly have in chemical wise enter their system, and of course could be poisonous. If your yarn doesn't have this below a certain amount, the yarn cannot be used for children's toys. So they have to pass that. So the first thing you want to do whenever making toys is make sure your yarn passes that. Starcraft provide free certificates for their special range, and I think it's their Wondersoft range. You just have to look for it on their websites. Which is why I use Starcraft. It's not the only one I use. The certificates I bought include other yarns, and that's the white snowflake stuff I used on the Santa outfits. They are a certificate yarn I bought. The different versions of Starcraft that aren't the ones that they provide for free, you have to pay for those certificates yourself. I got certificates for the joints, because you have to have everything certificated, so even the joints are certificated. The labels that I got, they are certificated, and the certificates are provided by the manufacturer when you buy from them, so that they can provide the correct one for the inks they've used and the ribbons they've used, because each piece of ribbon and each piece of ink has to be tested, because, you know, kids chew labels. The thread to sew the label on, that has to be tested for chemical migration and strength, so that the label isn't going to come off in the child's mouth. You have to do a test that tests the strength of all your joints and all your parts that you sew together, and anything like that. You have to attach it to a special sized clamps and things. They even have like the diameter you have to use, and then you have to have I think it's 7.2 kilograms of weight added to it over 5 seconds to check that it can withstand that weight. And if it snaps or comes loose or creates big holes that little fingers can get into, then it fouls instantly. No ifs, no buts, it's a foul. You have to have the stuffing has to be certified, so that you know that the stuffing they use is safe, because of course if your child is sucking it, it's going to suck some of the stuff from the stuffing. It's not going to get into their mouth, but you know, you're squashing and sucking, those juices are going to get through. So all of that has to be tested, and again, all of that's tested for flammability. The flammability is done, in general, it's done by when you finish the toy, you test the whole thing together. There are certain cases where you have to test the fabric and things separately, and that's size dependent. You also have to make sure that the item you're making won't fit into what's called the choke tube, which means it tests the sizing to go through this specific tube to whether a child could choke on it. If it goes through that tube, it's a fail. Or in some cases, depending on what the item is, it's not suitable for under 3s. But 9 times out of 10, it's just outright fail. So there is a lot that goes into making a toy to sell in this country, and that's why I have to charge a reasonable amount of money because I have to cover the cost of all this testing. Yes, most of the testing I do at home, but some of that stuff has got to be done with correct equipment. Some is basic equipment, wooden spoon will do the job, and basic spring type kitchen scales, they do the job. But you have to have a adjustable flame on your lighter. You have to be able to test the size of the flame and the angle and all this stuff, and how long it burns for and how far it burns, all this sort of weird stuff. So there's a lot. And then you have to have video or photographic proof of all the testing you've done as well, because trading standards could just turn up at the stall and say, I want to see proof of these have been tested. And you have to provide that proof, because of course it's their job to make sure standards are met. If you're really lucky, what they'll do is they'll pay for you for the toy and go off and test it themselves, as well as wanting to see your stuff. But I have heard of them just taking the toy and you being out of pocket, which I think is just downright rude. But they can do how they like, basically. They are checking the toy is suitable to be sold in this country, so you know. Right. Is that on the falls at the top? Nope, missed one again. I keep missing them. What am I like? Down here. So who's bored of talking about testing toys yet? Anyone? Just rambling along I am, because unlike other prepared people, I don't have show notes. I don't have what I should be discussing and what I want to talk about, because I just won't look at them anyway, so why bother? And plus I can't be bothered, I'm lazy. So I think that's all the falls at the top, so let's move along and do some falls along here, because I think there's some falls. I saw them a minute ago. Here, so we've got some falls down here, so we're going to do them next. Mally darling, could you please get me a drink? I'm pretty sure there's a tea you made me over there somewhere. I'll do that way because I need to. There's a lot of falls. I suppose it probably seems like there's a lot of falls because I did most of the threes last time. So there's only a few threes to do. Thank you.
No.
I bet my tea's cold, but I don't care because it's peppermint tea, so it's great cold.
Also, I got a new one.
Oh.
From Kinder.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Awesome. Everyone else getting those Minion toys from the Kinder Eggs. This is our current thing. I collected cute ones, so I got the girls. And I let them have the rest of them. I need to water my plant, it's going to die. I got a beautiful plant. One of my son's friends come by to visit with him. Oh, sorry, stretching over camera. But she got me this plant. Isn't it pretty? I don't know what it's called because I don't know nothing about plants. But it smells so nice. Yeah, it turns out she bought it for me when she went into Tesco's because she's drunk. She was drunk by that point, and she apparently decided just to buy me a flower. And I'm not going to complain because it's really nice. But she's always lovely. Chat away to her. I don't see it often because they seem to go through spits and flats. You're supposed to be watering my plant. What are you doing?
I didn't realise you asked me to water it.
I just asked you to.
Did you? I didn't hear this.
You're not going to put up with it. Check the video, you'll see I asked you. I love my son, but he doesn't listen to me. It's a man thing. None of them do.
You never got
I'm
my
so outnumbered
attention.
here. I've got 3 sons and a husband who is basically like a son because he's as mature as them. No, I love him. He works hard, bless him.
I think he's the least mature in the house.
It's quite possibly is the least mature in the house. The amount of times I have to stop them from play fighting in the lounge, next to my computer, or next to my camera, or next to whatever dangerous thing you can think of. I have glass doors. They play fight by them. It's like, you're a grown-ass man. You know not to do this. Or a nice TV. Yeah, let's smash that to smithereens, shall we?
And then after say he started it.
Yeah, they do. They say, he started it. It's like, how old are you? This is the mentality I have to put up with. It keeps the day interesting. But, you know, I'd like some girly, precious time. You know, do some nails, do makeup, because let's face it, I need help. I don't do any makeup because I don't know what I'm doing. You know, watch some Disney movies. I love my Disney movies. Just movies, Disney, just love it. Yeah, I love them, but they drive me insane. Anyone with children and a husband will understand that. Or a wife, maybe a wife drives you insane. I probably drive my husband insane, probably quite a lot. I'm going to pause and start this camera again above me because we're at 20 odd minutes, which means it's going to time out again and I'm going to be prepared for it this time. So, let's... And start it again. There we go. That should hopefully keep it going. Tripping over the Lego box there. It's not like it's a big container or anything, you know.
Yeah, just a giant green container.
That's one. We have a second one red of Lego. And he's like managed to just trip over it. I mean, seriously, how could you trip over something that big? I'm very in your face, aren't I? I'm sorry, but it's just... I'm recording you face on my iPad like I did last time. Which is why the quality isn't as good as the camera one. But I only have one camera, so you know. Yeah. It seems that a lot of the type of cameras I have can be plugged into a computer and used for live. Except I managed to get recommended by the camera store dude, because I bought one he recommended. I managed to get one that doesn't have the connect and stream through capabilities. How's that for annoying? I paid a rather large amount of money for this camera and told him what I wanted to use it for, and he said, yeah, this one would be great for it. Except for the fact that you can't do live streaming with it. So I now have to get a camera that I can do live streaming with because my webcam is horrendous. But the problem is, because of the angle where I sit at my computer, I can't have a camera that just sits on the top of the monitor. And I can't have one that just sits on the desk. I need one that can sit on a tripod. And those ones are harder to find. The ones you can find so far are a lot more money. And I can't afford to buy a more expensive camera when I'm still trying to make enough money from my business to pay for this main camera that I bought. I have to account for that first. What we got?
For you, and for you.
Alright, back in a minute. I'm going to see what post I got. There we go. Now we're posting, so hopefully I can sync that up again later. Nothing interesting in the post. Anyone who has catalogues will know that they're always sending you letters. So you could save this much if you delay your payment by such and such. And it's like, yeah, and the interest is more than what the item costs in the first place. Why would I do that? It's just idiocy. I saw a fall. There it is. God. It's there somewhere, wasn't it? I am so going to end up going back and finding all the ones I missed because I'm a twit. I missed so many, it's ridiculous. There's a whole bunch up here. Is that on camera? Here it is. Probably getting on in time considering I've had to stop this a couple of times. So I don't actually know how long I've been recording for. But I'm having fun. I miss doing this. I hated that I left it so long, but just having the energy to sit up here and do all of this, because the chair's not comfy. My wheelchair's not back in here at the moment. It's still in the garage from when I went to the creative writing group. So it's still a little, I have to sit in the not so comfy dining room chair. Did I tell you how my creative writing group went? I don't think I did. If I did, and I'm repeating myself, really sorry. But it was fabulous. The ladies were so nice. I can't obviously give names and things like that because of confidentiality, but they were lovely. There wasn't too many of us, so it wasn't overbearing, and some of them were as nervous as me, whereas others were a little more outgoing, in a way that made everyone feel comfortable. And so we were given tasks and things to do, like getting to know each other and things, and then really simple writing activity. I see, I hear, I feel, I taste, that sort of thing. Set in a certain scene. And then if we wanted to, which we didn't have to, we could read out what we wrote. And so the more confident people went first, but they made you feel so at ease and so at home that we all ended up reading that, even those of us who were super nervous. Because we were all so relaxed and everyone was so super friendly. It was lovely. And I didn't feel badly anxiety, that's not a word, but you get what I mean, at all. It was like meeting up with old friends. And yet I didn't know a single one of them. But they were really nice. And people of all ages. I'm pretty sure one of them was younger than me. If not, she looked bloody good. And then some of them were older, ranging from all age. One of them has had a very interesting career, and she's actually looking to write her memoirs. Won't say any more than that, obviously, because confidentiality. Our teacher is actually she has a degree in English literature and that. But also she is an award-winning artist, writer, author, who already does teaching for children in schools. So she knows what she's on about, and that's what she's going to teach us about. But she doesn't make anyone feel like we can't write, we can't do poems, we can't do anything. You can do whatever you want to put your mind to, because it doesn't have to be a poem, it doesn't have to be 100% sense. It's what you want to do. You're getting used to it, you're learning to write, so you can do whatever you want to do. And it was just fabulous. So I really enjoyed it. I believe we're going to be meeting up once a month, but we're going to be moving into a different place because the place we met in wasn't cheap. So we possibly are going to move into a pub or something. So that might be a little more relaxed. Certainly be warmer, I tell you. The hall we were in, really cold. But yeah, really enjoyed it, and definitely we're going to be going back again, so really happy with that. So I think we may have got all the fours at the top. If I pull the thing back so you can have a proper look. Yeah, I think we've got all the fours. Oh, no, spotted one there. There's a whole bunch more. I don't want to come. I don't know, lost it. I don't know where it went. If you spotted where it went, let me know. I don't want to turn over. Alright, well, I think that's all the fours at the top, except for the one that I spotted and can't find again now. But, as you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. We've still got lots to go. But I think what I'm going to do is call it quits. There are more falls. There's a lot more falls coming down through the bottom. But pretty sure we've been going a while, so I think we're going to call it quits for the minute. Let's see if I can zoom out the camera a bit so you can see what we've got done. If I can pull this back without damaging anything. There we go, so you can see. So it's coming along really nicely. But I need a rest. My back hurts, and if I don't go and record the daily update now, then we might not have any battery power left. So I'm going to go and do that. So I will hopefully do this again really soon and not leave it as long as I have. I'm also going to do some like some of you others have done, where we're just like crocheting along and chatting and things. Not just do it with this, because I'm quite enjoying just doing the chatting away with you. And so I think I'd like to do more of that, just maybe sat on the sofa for a little bit so it's not so painful. So I will have seen you yesterday, because that will be when my next video comes out, and this one I will see you, I don't know, hopefully soon. I don't know when. We'll have to wait and see. So all of you take care. Bye.